Welcome back to the Elements of Spirit readings for the week of February 20th, 2017. I've had a long couple weeks. I missed you last week. If you haven't seen through my social and whatnot, my father passed away, had a funeral, had a eulogy, had a whole bunch of stuff, learning so much. I'll be slowly creeping back to work. I'll start seeing clients again in early March. But I wanted to make sure I picked up with these readings as quickly as possible. These are readings through the classical elements, the elements of spirit. Earth, air, water, fire, thought of as the traditional quaternary four elements that manifest in the third dimension on this plane in which we exist. And the ether is the space in which all of those elements dance. So each of the elements can be associated with the sun signs. Is that the triplicities? Astrology is late for me. That's why these are not astrological readings. But in order to figure out which reading is yours, you find your classical sun sign, look in the description below this reading, and that'll tell you your element if you don't know it already. Ether sort of applies to everyone. It gives us a sense of the space of the coming week, just a general message for the week. And then the readings go a little further in your individual elements as to how to work with those dominant elements within the etheric space that's being created during the week. So without further ado, we'll just plug in. Calling upon all of my guides and guardians. Been seeing my dad a lot on the other side. Great. See a big, it looks like a big, big screen TV, open screen. And the question here is, what are you filling your screen with? What are you filling your screen with? That's a good one, right? I've got some eucalyptus and lemon oil percolating in the room, a lovely little atomizer. What are you filling your nose with? Your ears. Your guts. Your heart. What are you filling your space with? The message seems to be about keeping it clear. This isn't like a cleansing message. It's not like get the shit out of your space if it's clogged up. It's more so just to remind you that what you pay attention to is what you become. What you pay, that's scary. Attention to is what you become. Thought about this. I thought about it as I was with my dad in his last weeks, just looking at him, watching him, being with him. And it's interesting how much more I feel like him now that he's gone. But what are you watching? Breathing in the freshness of lemon and the clarity of eucalyptus. I'm filling myself with freshness and clarity. So now I'm paying attention to that vibration of freshness and clarity, to the gentle light. I have a really good friend who once said to me, he used some Ayurvedic term. He was like, oh my God, I'm so... Pitta? I don't remember. I'm so pitta. I can't even listen to loud music. And I was like, wow. He put it in a much more complimentary way. He was like, wow, you have such a strong constitution. You can listen to like crazy dubstep, blaring out your speakers in the car. And I was like, I never thought about it like that. The idea that we each have a particular nature or a temperament which can be nurtured or fucked with, which can be supported or dismantled. Ain't nobody gonna tell you what your nature is. Unless you go see an amazing healer. Really great healers can reflect gently your nature to you. Not necessarily by saying this is your nature, but by talking to you about yourself. And when you have that sense that a person sees you and knows you and knows what they're talking about, that's your nature being reflected back at you. Your soul being reflected back at you. And the idea here is that if you look at your screen, if you look at your nose, smell, if you look at your ears, if you look at your guts, you look at your heart, what are you filling yourself with? What are you taking in? What are you loving? What are you absorbing? What are you eating? What are you breathing? That's the nose. It's not just about smell, but what are you breathing? How are you breathing? What are you taking in? You are your gatekeeper. There are certain things that you can't keep out, but there are plenty of things that you do have a choice in taking in or keeping out. So the reminder here is to be aware of that and to respect it, and to respect the fact that you are the only one who truly knows what it's like to be you. So you are the only one who truly knows if this music is too loud, or if that smell is funking you up, or if this action is breaking your heart, or if the noise is making you cringe, or if whatever's on the TV is making you, I don't say TV, I say TV usually. Whatever's on the TV is is giving you a headache, or that moment when you're like, oh wow, the 24-hour news cycle just started repeating itself. You're the only one who knows when it's time to get up and walk away. You're the one who knows when Facebook's giving you a headache. What are you filling your screen with? What are you filling your nose with, your ears, your guts, your heart? I can't answer that. You can. And just by asking the question, you begin to reshift your awareness towards not just the stuff that's filling up the space, but to the choices being made, to the space itself, to your agency in what you fill the space with. Okay, and the affirmation is very beautiful. Very beautiful this week. It's to remind you that, the affirmation, I can choose to create my experience. Doesn't mean I'm gonna, but I can choose to create my experience. I like that. Thank you, guides. Thank you, elements. Thank you, ether, for being gentle with this, because I create my experience is one we hear a lot, and it's not untrue. I mean, the thoughts lead to the ideas, or the ideas lead to the thoughts, lead to the actions, in some order. When I'm a little more clear-headed, I'll remember that order perfectly, but ideas, thoughts, actions. Thank you, Spirit. When you hear I create my experience, or when I hear I create my experience, it sounds kind of daunting. This affirmation is different. I can choose to create my experience. I can choose to create my experience. I can choose to create my experience. I can choose what to put on my screen, in my mind, in my nose, in my ears, in my guts, in my heart. I can choose to close my eyes. I can choose to not listen. I can choose to look away. But I can also choose to look and listen and taste and breathe. I can choose to create my experience. That's the affirmation for this week, for the ether. Remember, it is in your power. Your experience is in your power, no matter what anyone tells you. Based on what you pay attention to, you could be foolish and look away. You could be foolish and not look away. It's your choice. It's 100% your choice. Blessed be.